Hello and welcome to the BGFA podcast show. I'm Derry.
I'm Evan.
We're joined by Kevin Phillips and Alan Terrell, who are the director and the cinematographer of Stationary Bike. It's a Stephen King novel that's been adapted by the BGFA it's about a man who's told that he needs to lose weight, and in doing so his body starts fighting back because he pushes himself too far. So
how did you come to decide on Stationary Bike as your project?
Well, we had a couple of older students who wanted to get their teeth into something a little bit more mature. Right? A lot of the films that they do, we got a lot of young crowd here on certain days, but Alfie and Keris especially wanted to do something a little bit different.
So we had a look at a list of what was available to us
On Doll Baby's website.
on the Doll Babies website, and obviously we don't have the massive budget as, say, the big Hollywood films, so we had to pick something that we knew that we could film very well on a low budget. So
Yeah,
we had a look.
what I will say is Stephen King been doing this since the 80s. Right? I think the director Shawshank Redemption, I think they actually started with a Dollar Babies film. But like Al said, we had to pick something that we could do. It's no good picking a film that we need like 500 Romans, marching through the middle of town or something like. It's probably impossible. Yeah. So we picked this one on two reasons. Number one, we got the wonderful countryside and quarries and everything around Wales, and the other reason is that a lot of it takes place in the basement. Mm-hmm. So the backstage of the Little Theatre here in Tredegar is an ideal setting for that.
Was that easy enough to create and, keep the set in?
Yeah, I think so.
Because we work out of the theatre, there was a lot of what they call the flats, which they put up for normal backgrounds for the productions. So we were lucky with the space that we had at the back and those flats, we were able to kind of bolt them all together and make an extra wall to thereby give us this basement setting. So most of it was kind of to hand, wasn't it? We just had to get a little bit creative in places just to sell it a bit.
And we had a nice bit of space on the one side of the room, which was quite open. So, for our camera people and for our sound and lighting and everything, one thing you never see in the film, of course, is all that. And that's all down the one side. But also it's ideal for us because, we had the stage in front and the actual location, the setting, it was perfect. It was ideal. Do you know what I mean? So we could have built it anywhere else and we'd have to, have the problem of shipping or taking all our equipment back and forth buildings. But this was ideal. It was right on our doorstep.
Were there many problems during filming that you had to...
Oh, there's always problems filming. One of the biggest problems with filming is getting round problems. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest problems for us, like most films, is weather. Everything's weather dependent. And on the dream sequence, which was shot at the top of Treble, we had a nasty cold spell. And, we had to set it up. We couldn't actually go back and say, right, then we're going to reshoot it another day. Everything was in place. So we had maybe 20 youngsters up there at the top of Treble, all wrapped up very, very warm, and which was unbelievable because a week later I went up there walking a dog and the temperature jumped by about 12 degrees. Do you know what I mean? So it was a lovely warm day. So I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah, I think one of the major problems we had actually occurred after filming up at Treble again. We borrowed a vehicle which features in the film. Everybody had gone. There was just the skeleton crew left to get the last sort of few props down and this vehicle, and as it happened we got in, put the key in the ignition and it just went tick, and that was it. So then it was kind of a dilemma now because we've got to get this vehicle back to its owner. We're in the middle of Treble, there's no garages around, this thing is completely dead, and so suddenly you start to kind of go, how do we tell the owner their vehicle is still up in a quarry somewhere? But fortunately I just happened to have a set of jump leads in the back of my car. Because it's a van, the battery is under the passenger seat, so we literally had to pull the front of my car as tight as we possibly could to the vehicle, connect the jump leads, and fortunately she turned over and it was like, right, just get it back down.
We always encounter problems all the time, and it's having a plan for the plan for the plan for the plan, and I think that's the main thing that all good filmmakers will have in their mind. It's not, right, plan A, what's happening if plan A fails? You always got a plan B and then a plan C. A good example of that, I think, one problem we go around is the van sequence there that you've seen. We got Rue and his van, and Ewan and Jay and all them sitting in there, and they're chasing Ryan on his bike, who plays the main part, of course. And one of the things we wanted to do to get the impression that, you know, they really like kind of after him and bring an action sequence, we wanted to bring the van as close as we can to the back tyre. Now, there's no way we was going to jeopardise Ryan in any way. I'm right. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
we'll fight.
Yeah. So I swapped clothes with Ryan, right, and we shot all the action scenes of the bike wheel going close to the actual bump of the van. That was me on the bike. So I had his shoes on, I had his pajamas on, and everything. So, you know, because it was our idea, if something happened to us because his idea, it's not a big deal.
If you get hit by the car,
if I was get hit by the car,
And of course, there wasn't just Kev risking sort of that shot.
Al was
the only way we could get the camera low enough to get the angle, because you put the camera down low for vehicles, it makes them look faster than they are. And the only way we could do that was there was no rig that we could trust enough to place at the back of the car in case it got bumped and it fell off. So the only way we could do that was to tie the camera to my arm and then tie me to the car. So while Kev is risking, you know, I was on that bike getting the shots and allowing the van to come close to him, I'm actually hanging out of the boot of the car. The top half is out, getting the shot with my waist tied to one half of the car, my feet tied to another part of the car. We both had a, you know.
Yeah, so we look at that as a problem, but we overcome it. All right?
Yeah. The extreme. How long did it take you to produce the film?
Right. Well, the storyboard and the script, we took a lot of time. We probably took about 5 months actually just doing that, once or twice a week. A good storyboard means that it's almost like your Bible when you're filmmaking. So, you know, you can look at it and think, right then, you've got a script, you've got a storyboard. Everything is a step-by-step process, just like a graphic novel. Okay, you've got a step-by-step process to every shot that you're actually doing. So that's what took the longest. The shooting itself, maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
It's certainly sped up having the storyboard. It's sort of you can't do a film of this kind of caliber and this size without some kind of guide. You know, you can't just turn up when you've got extras and I mean, we had a lot of extra, but you can't just turn up and try and just work out there and then. You've got to have a plan, and it paid off tenfold, didn't it?
There was a lot of prep going into it. So the more prep, the better. You know, people say, oh, you know, you can just go out and just do guerrilla filmmaking, and now you can, but when you're prepared, it comes out so much better. The filming then took about 4 weeks. You know, we filmed all around Tredegar. We filmed in our first director, Carys Lloyd's house over in Merthyr. You know, earlier on we actually drove past the outside of the house of Ryan's character, and of course the inside was over Merthyr. So we tried to get the locations as much in Tredegar as possible, so, you know, we didn't have to travel, you know, miles and miles and miles away. Then the edit take just as long as the actual prep. You know, you do a tidy edit, you know, you need to chuck, you know, music in, you know, sound effects and everything. You know, we are on a super low budget, so we do our absolute best to make it very cinematic in every single way.
Definitely. And I mean, of course, you've got to think of it's not just editing the footage. The shots have to be colour graded so they all match, so you get this lovely consistency. There are sound effects in there, and there are sounds. Not a lot of people realise that a vast percentage of Hollywood films have so many extra additional sound effects and sounds put in afterwards. And Stationary Bike was no different. Everything from van engines to people dubbing over lines because we weren't happy with the sound on the day, or we just couldn't get the sound on the day.
The wind was a big problem.
Wind was definitely a big problem. Everything from letters coming through a letterbox, all of that is put on afterwards, so we can get the right levels, because obviously if you do it on the day, you're stuck with that kind of level with every other sound. If you put it on afterwards, you can decide if you want it louder or quieter. So there's a lot that goes in. Special effects, obviously, as well. They take time, and there's special effects in there that you don't even see. You know, they're designed to just blend in there. One
of them, Al done a fantastic job. We kind of very lucky when the big caterpillar type of vehicle went past the workers at one stage, right? That was just happened to be going past. We didn't have any permission to use it. We didn't say, hey quarry guys, you know, can we use your vehicles or anything? They was going past, so we thought, great, we'll shoot this scene, get everybody ready, we can see it coming up, it's coming really slow, we'll shoot it. Now what Al done, you might have seen this there when he was actually watching it, is we got the lipid signs.
Yeah.
Oxen. That's a special effect put on later.
Is it?
Yep, it is. Hey,
Yep.
happy days.
Yeah, that's it.
So to the viewer, you think, God, these guys, you know, they got these vehicles involved.
Yeah.
No, we took the opportunity. It was just an opportunity. They was going past, and we put all the special effects, the lip signs in later, and that's what I think was really excellent about this effect, that you wouldn't even notice. You know, it's a special effect that goes unnoticed, and I think that's what the best special effects are. The ones that just don't stand out.
Watching that scene with the van chasing the bike and the big like truck from the construction, I didn't think you could get that for under 30. It was a budget of £30 for a film.
Yeah.
It's
I think I'm a great believer in, right, you know, you treat people well. Do you know what I mean? You don't know where you are. It don't matter where you are on like the pay scheme or the pay ladder or anything. You know, you make friends and you create good relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolute key. I say anybody who like rubs people up the wrong way in any shape or form, whether you're filming or asking for favours, the people won't come back and give you these favours. So the van itself, like I said, that was Rue's van. Willow and Scarlett, who to come to our Tuesday class, is their dad. We got on very well. He's actually a Viking reenactor as well. So he always got a van at hand. And we just mentioned to him, can you come up and, you know, drive this van? And he just said, yeah, no problem. Because number one, we always, you know, we got a good relationship with Rue. But of course, you know, he was very thankful for the stuff that we do with his youngsters as well to give them these opportunities. So the only £30 we spent was on the exercise bike. In physical money, as hours go, we probably, you know, we done a lot of this in our free time, you know, all the weekends, because we wanted as many youngsters in as possible. So in a lot of it was done in Film Academy time, but also is a massive lot of volunteer hours went in.
Definitely, and you cannot make this type of film on your own. You have to have a good network of friends, and as Kev said, you know, you make these friends, you keep these friends, you help them when they need help, and then when things like this, you know, you can call these favours in, and because, you know, Kev called his favours in, I called mine in, Richard called his in, who's the editor. You know, and so that's how we managed to get, like, you know, we managed to get a drone in, we managed to get vehicles in, we managed to get Bedwellty House, who very graciously became the doctors, you know. They opened their doors and allowed us to take over their entire top floor to make the doctor's surgery, you know. It wouldn't happen unless you've got friends, and you have to remember to thank these people afterwards as well, because the next time you might want to go back there again, you know, they're going to be able to help you once again.
And if anything we can do to help them on anything, we will.
Yeah.
You know, our volunteer base was massive when you think of Fionn, Maria makeup artist, Jay, you know, he volunteered loads of hours.
Definitely.
Rue himself, Ralph, Ewan, you know, all these are the workers, and they volunteered just their time because we've helped them in some shape or form in the past.
And even right down to the props, isn't it? All the hard hats, all the high-vis jackets.
We borrowed them off somebody. We asked for permission off, like I said, Bedwellty House, but the town council actually had us get permission to film the travel as well. So we had a massive load of favours given to us, and it's all about building good relationships and respecting other people around you.
With all these people on set, what was the atmosphere there like?
It was great. It was hard work, right? Don't get me wrong, right? Like all filmmaking, people think that it's all red carpets and awards and everything. It's a graft, right? It's hard, it's cold, it's long hours, and you film it at the night. You know, it's hard work. The better the film, I believe, is the more hard work being put into it.
Definitely, and I mean, it's what you've got to think of, especially for like the likes of Kev as a director. He's responsible for everything. So some people can come and ask occasionally the camera person or the sound guy for advice and help, but actors, obviously, they have to take direction from the director, and then I have to pester the director for, you know, how does he want this shot to look, you know, what's his vision. The sound guy is kind of going, you know, how he needs to know what's happening, so the director has to sort of be on top of all of this and filter all this information down. So sometimes for a shot, what could be, you know, a shot that's on screen for a couple of seconds might take us a good half hour to set up, because everybody needs to know what they're doing. So there's a lot of waiting around and a lot of sort of sitting just for us to do our job technically before we can actually start a shot. So everybody has got to get on well. You can't have anybody being negative because there's just not time for it. You know what I mean? You need people to enjoy it, because then that's going to show in the performances, and it's certainly going to even show behind the camera in our performances. You know, you need that camaraderie. You need to work well as a team.
And that's what we got, in the Film Academy, especially our youngsters, our two directors, there's no egos. You know what I mean? Everybody looks at this as a hard job, and we celebrate, the hard work after. But yeah, so the actual, the relationships and the atmosphere, everything on set was good. Everybody gelled together and worked so well. When you think that Caris Lloyd actually booked 2 weeks off work, and she was my first assistant director, and she took care of so much, behind the scenes, especially like anything with the workers in. She took care of costumes, everything, and she was there, when we started and when we finished. So same for Maria and many others as well. I'm sure we're probably leaving a couple out, unfortunately. Yeah, but everybody who helped on it was just happy to help on it. There was no animosity between people. If somebody could help in any way, whether Alfie and Caris, they had a lot of schoolwork, but they come and they kind of like learned how to direct, or from a certain extent from us, and especially the storyboard, they helped so much. But yeah, the atmosphere was very good right the way through.
You mentioned slightly there about the actors. They have to enjoy being there, and that does come through in the film. Like, you can see that everyone on screen and behind the camera want to be there. They have to enjoy it. It's.
I don't think it was just because it was a Stephen King film. Like when the press releases went out, we looked at the press releases as purely as an attraction. Right, so get the word out to like the Gwent Gazette and other newspapers to say, this is more like an advertisement tool for us. Little did we know that we'd be on Canadian radio, Canadian TV, Australian radio, New Zealand. We found newspaper articles in Russia, Dubai, India,
so Mexico. I think
Mexico. It's just George Takei from Star Trek. He put it on his website, and he's like, "Wow, I'm a big Star Trek fan. That was the best."
Oh my!
But yeah, oh my! And he sent us congratulations and what have you. Of course, the One Show come up. They done a big article on us. So for us, for 2 weeks, we had to do all press work. But yeah, so it just went for the roof, didn't it? The actual. But what I was coming to is that even if it wasn't a Stephen King film, all the people that was involved in this film still would have been involved in this film. We had, like I said, we had many people contact us and say, "Oh, I really want to be in it." And when we said all the parts have actually been cast, they didn't reply. But they always wanted to just be connected to a Stephen King film, or a Stephen King licensed film, I should say. So all the people who was involved in it was there because they wanted to, because they just wanted to help, or we helped them in some shape or form in the past, and they just wanted to give a little bit back.
How involved was Stephen King or Stephen King's people in the process?
You actually write to them through the Dollar Babies website, and you actually pick a film, and then I believe his secretary Margaret is our main contact. But how it works is that you get a contract and then you've got to pay $1. They're very helpful and give us good advice right the way through, to the point where the contract really should have ended around about the middle of October, and they just sent a new contract through so we can actually like keep working on it and keep promoting it as part of the film school for about another 10 months. Do you know what I mean? They're very flexible and very, very nice, yeah. But part of the contract is that you send a copy off to them, and I believe the Stephen King do watch them as well. So yeah, we had good input from the King Estate.
You were put in for awards. Can you tell us about how they're affected, like how atmosphere is it? What people like? Yeah,
people have award ceremonies and stuff like that. For us, it'd work on a couple of different levels for awards. We go through the official selection first. And what it means for us is it's great to have the trophies and go to award ceremonies, but it's so much more. Number one, it tells our funders, because Blaenau Gwent Film Academy is 100% funded. So, that means we'll never charge anybody to come here. There's no monthly direct debit fees or nothing like that. And I know some organisations will charge an arm and a leg for this type of opportunity. So to tell our funders that, number one, that, wow, the films these guys are making, they're good, they put a lot of effort in. Number 2, all the laurel wreaths that have come through, whether you're winners or officially selected, go straight down to CVs. So when a lot of these youngsters, some of them are coming up to like 15, 16, 17 at the moment, if they're applying for jobs, and perhaps if the potential future employers flicking through the actual CVs and they come across, you've worked on this film that was licensed by Stephen King, you stand out from a crowd. You may be going to a potential employer's pile. For us as well, the award ceremony's fab. So far, our nominations, we
Crikey.
The Fusion Film Festivals, which we believe is reviewed as the top 50, within the top 50 in on the planet. A real nice bunch of guys. Steve and Dan, who was the event organisers, they're very sympathetic. They know we are grafters and they know what we're like. We've been nominated for the East European Awards, which is Best
Actor,
Editing, Best Editing, Best
Directing, and there's another one.
Best Film.
Best Film.
Yeah, we've never been nominated for Best Film, which is great. We was officially selected in the World Premiere Film Festival, which is based in Burbank, in LA. Which we never thought we'd ever get in. Just a couple of days ago, we got notified that we had 4 awards, actually 1. For everybody want to get their work into LA, so this is massive for us. And that was Best Song, which is Red Alert. And again, it goes back to people who helped us, Kevin Davidges and Steve Oz's, and they band Red Alert, a local band. They give us a song. And that picked up an award, which we was really chuffed for, because it's giving something back to them. And Lee Davidge as well, he sang on it, I believe. Great for them guys. They picked up an award. It was Best Comedy.
Best dark comedy.
Yeah, because it is a lot of good comedy timing, I believe, which is fab.
There was Best Screenplay.
And Ryan Probert again, Best Actor.
Yeah.
So it's fabulous for us because it benefits everybody. It's not just a vanity thing. Do you know what I mean? It actually benefits the entire organisation as well as the individuals themselves.
You mentioned how that affects people after shooting, but you were aware of some awards before it was released, and how does that affect the performance?
Well, the performance of the actors
and just performance and creation.
Right, I see. I think one of the main things it does for all our youngsters, right, when we say, your film have been selected into this awards and what have you, it's like Al directed a lovely little, you was involved in Life of the Plastic Cup. Yeah. We got notified by Seattle Film Festival, Children's Film Festival, one of the biggest in the United States, and they wanted to put that in there. We're still waiting for the official selection now to come up. But what it means is to us, all the films you do is great, because we know how much effort to go into these films by the youngsters or young adults and what have you. But when the outside world and professionals go, you've done a good job, do you know what I mean? That's what makes it extra special, I think.
That's it. And I don't think we ever set out to specifically make a film to try and win an award. I think if you go down that path,
never.
It's never going to be good.
Yeah, we know
you've got to be passionate about your projects, because if you don't, it's going to be obvious that you don't care. You've got to make them for you. You've got to make them for as a passion, and then then we happen to find a category that goes, that would work in it. But I mean, we never set out to do that. It's just a lovely way, it's just nice when it does happen.
Yeah, it's just a cherry on the cake.
It just adds it on there, but yeah.
Shall we end part 1 there, guys? I know times are ticking, so shall we finish that off today?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.